This is Jonathan Aguilar for Pro Boxing Fans, joined by Shane McGuigan here at McGuigan Gym. Chris Billam-Smith Media Day ahead of next week's fight against Lawrence Okolie. Shane, how are we feeling about next week?
Yeah, it's approached nice and quick. Obviously excited, apprehensive as well. You know, I've got Chris in the biggest fight of his career, fighting a guy that I know very well as well. So yeah, there's a lot on the line, but at the same time, it's what an amazing achievement. Chris boxing in front of 16,000 people at home for a world title against a British guy as well.
I mean, do you, how to word this, not pat yourself on the back, but you've taken him from debut to world title, European, British. Do you sort of take some pride in seeing that he's headlining at the stadium he's always wanted to?
Yes, from a management standpoint, yes. You know, it was a long-term project with Chris. You know, he boxed, his first fight was down in Bournemouth, non-televised, got paid an absolute pennies, had to pay for his opponent, had to pay for himself after he paid for his opponent and the house. So, you know, it's been a long journey. We're about 5.5 years in. You know, he originally came to my gym to spar George Groves and kept coming back, and then he was still an amateur, and then asked me to turn pro, if he could turn pro in my gym, and if we could look after him, and we said yes. So it's a huge success story, but you know, we have to win. But you know, win, lose or draw, it's a huge success story. But you know, the icing on the cake is winning.
I remember when we were at the first press conference, I asked you, do you sort of enjoy going up against your old stablemate, and you said no, you don't, because you still care about Lawrence, etc. But does it make it easier in a way training for someone who's already been in the gym, or in some ways is it tougher because I'm sure he's going to want to do an element of surprise? He's not going to want to box how you know he can box completely. Yeah,
I mean, like, do I think that was the best version of Lawrence Okolie against David Light? Not necessarily, not at all really. It was a bad performance. So for us, we got to prepare for the best version of Lawrence, and that was in our gym. And he's a really good sparrer. Chris is a really good sparrer as well. So, but with that, the two of them don't know each other. They do know each other, and you know, from the outside looking at tape of Lawrence, as a coach or something, oh, you got to shorten that right hand, and you've got to push him back, and you've got to get physical and stay on him and make him work when he doesn't want to work and punch on the inside. But I know Lawrence, and I know how effective he is at certain things, and that being one of them. So, you know, we have to approach this differently. I think that's going to help us, the fact that we do know how effective he is at that, because you don't know it till you're in there. You know, as a fighter, you might look at it and say, oh yeah, how's he getting success? How's he winning? And then you get in there and you realise why he's winning. And they've shared over 200 rounds together. So that's probably going to play, you know, a big factor for both. You know, Lawrence knows what Chris does well. He knows what he probably switches off and doesn't do well, and vice versa. So yeah, it's going to boil down to 36 minutes, but it's just about who can hold form and concentrate, you know. And I know that Lawrence is extremely dangerous, not just in the first 4 rounds, throughout the fight. But yeah, he's in a really good place, and I'm confident, quietly confident.
And in terms of sort of, you know, when you were with Lawrence, comparing Chris to the opponents you trained Lawrence for, how do you see, obviously I'm sure you believe Chris is the best opponent he's fought, but compared to like the Glowackies, etc., how would you rate Chris?
I mean, Glowacki was not the best Glowacki, you know what I mean? Like, that was when he beat Marco Huck back in 2013 or something like that, 2015 or whatever it was. So you know, and that's not to discredit the win that Lawrence had. It's just that wasn't the best version. So he had a fresh Michael Cieslak, and that's his biggest win to date. And I think, you know, Chris is at that level. He's as good as Michael Cieslak. So you know, and I think, you know, us knowing Lawrence, you know, I think gives us a lot of encouragement for sure.
Do you believe Chris stops Lawrence next week?
I think it would be hard for us to win 7 rounds clear against a champion out with Lawrence's effectiveness. So we will have to dent him, and we can't give away rounds. So yeah, I think the two of them can hurt each other. That's the thing. I think everyone's going to just think that Lawrence can hurt Chris, but trust me, that it can go both ways. And I've seen Lawrence, I've seen him hurt a little bit. So we've got encouragement that that we can definitely hurt him, that's for sure.
Do you ever look at it from the trainer perspective, like you going up against Sugar Hill? I know you've got more experience than him, but he's made a name for himself, recognition like yourself. Do you enjoy that sort of competition aspect of it?
Not really. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I don't shy away from that. But it's just my sole focus is on CBS. It's about making sure that he wins his fight. Take my ego out, take Sugar Hill's ego out, and it's just down to 2 boxes really. But yeah, it's people can look at that. Yeah.
Just an update on the rest of the gym. Big few months coming up. You got Adam out soon. Ellie, just talk us through it.
Yeah, Adam's boxing, Ellie's boxing for a world title. So in the space of 3 weeks, we could have 2 world champions in the gym. So that's the goal. And then obviously Adam's headlining as well. He's fighting a decent opponent on Sky Sports on York Hall, the home of boxing in Britain, in London. So we've got to showcase Adam's skills and something different. He's boxing a guy that's going to come to win, and has quite a good decent amount of pedigree as well. So it's definitely Adam's hardest fight, but it's an exciting one. It's an interesting one for me as well. I need to see how he dissects a guy that's schooled well. He's got good schooling, tough. He'll have that good concentration. Like Ukrainians they're very disciplined people. So it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on with him. I think he's going to stop him, but it's just the manner that he does it, and then it allows us to pave the next 12 months really.
He actually told me before that he'd be happy to fight Rolly Romero after what he watched on Saturday, and he believes he'd win. Obviously that fight's not going to happen just yet, but what did you look at that performance and think, a couple more fights?
Yeah, they'll never box Adam Azim. That's the truth. It's the risk versus reward is not there. It's not there. I believe they're setting up a Tank Davies showcase, number 2. Do you know what I mean? It's he gives another chance or one of Heyman's other 140-pounders that he can roll out. But that was the worst stoppage I've ever seen. So it's a disappointment. But Adam will blitz him. It's true, in my opinion.
And then, is there any update with regards to Daniel Dubois and Alexander Usyk?
Not yet, no.
Final question, Shane. Devin Haney, Lomachenko this Saturday. How do you see the fight go?
I'm leaning towards Lomachenko points.
What's that?
Because he's fucking mustard, and he's old. He's an old, slightly slowed down version of himself, but I think it's still enough. I think Devin Haney's a good all-rounder, decent power, not a massive puncher, decent pop, but good defensively. But defensive fighters with Lomachenko that's not the one. He doesn't like people putting it on him, and he doesn't like power. Teofimo Lopez hit him with the hard shots early, put him in his shell for a bit. Yeah, he didn't let his hands go because of his shoulder, but same thing with Salido back in the day. He got hit a couple of good shots and went really within himself. Even Luke Campbell hit him a good backhand hook in the first minute and a half, and he's eased his way into the fight. I don't think Devin Haney's got that pop. So if he doesn't have that pop and lets Lomachenko start his work early, I think he'll beat him on points, maybe 7-5, 8-4, something like that.
Interesting. Shane, appreciate your time. Ahead of next week, Chris Smith, Lawrence Cullen. I believe Caroline's on the card as well.
It's indecisive at the moment, yeah, but she's looking like it, and I think she's definitely going to be out on Adam's card. It's just whether she gets 2 run-outs or not.
Shane, appreciate it.